Well, I'm looking at the polls between Rick Santorum and Mitt Romney, and it's pretty dead even. I mean, some states it's Mitt Romney by a grotesque amount, and in a couple more states it's Rick Santorum by a little bit, and in some states they're almost completely even. It's going to probably come down to the Republican Party themselves deciding what direction they want to take the Republican Party. Do they want to rely on the social conservative vote, or do they want to rely on, you know, the neoconservative vote? That's what it comes down to. It's going to come down to more of the same, you know, another George Bush, or do they want to try to appeal to the Christian right? And the Christian right has been misrepresented in this country for a long time. There's really never been any appeasement of the Christian right. And there's a reason why Rick Santorum is doing so well when in no other election would he have done nearly this well. And that is because religion is the opiate of the masses. Now, when communists say that, people automatically assume that's a negative. Because we know the dangers of opiums nowadays. But you have to remember, when Marx wrote that, opium was used as a pain reliever. They didn't have all the advancements in medicine that they do now. Back then, it was opium or you just sucked it up and died of pain. So, to say it's the opiate of the masses is to suggest that it is the medicine given to people to withdraw from their agonizing, slow demise. It is the method the public uses to calm itself and to deal with the pain of economic plight and uncertainty. So, religion is its means of, you know, finding peace and resolution. Now, mind you, it's also a distraction. It's not getting rid of the source of the problem. It's merely making the people more content. Yes, and that's a good thing. People should feel good and not have to be burdened with all this struggle and turmoil. But at the same time, they need to recognize the problem and do something about it. So that's the way I look at the Christian right. The way I look at the Christian right is that their anger, their frustration, their, you know, just all around discomfort is understandable. But they need to realize that there's actual problems and they all descend from capital. Every single issue they got a problem with descends from capital. You know what? The abortion industry is privatized. Homosexuals can do whatever they want because generally we have this laissez-faire clusterfuck. You know, instituting gay marriage implies that marriage is a private institution to begin with that they can get into. So all these problems basically come down to private industry. You can't have prostitution and abortions and all those other things in a socialized economy. Or you could, but it wouldn't work the same way. It would be different. And while I don't think that would, you know, satisfy conservatives 100%, you know, they're not going to want publicly funded abortions, even if they're better regulated, even if they actually made sense when they got the abortions. They're not going to want, you know, just as it is, they don't want publicly funded birth control. So they're not going to be satisfied with just, you know, a better state running it. But at the very least, they have to admit that free capitalism isn't working in their favor. And we can argue all day long whether or not, you know, these issues should be strictly forbidden under all circumstances, or properly regulated, or whatever, but we have to agree that it's capitalism, it's that free market mentality that we live in the Wild West or some shit that has gotten us where we are today. And when Christians can accept that and distance themselves from the ultra-capitalist right, we will all be better off. And hopefully that's what's going on here. And this isn't just some more rhetoric. This isn't just some, attempt to strengthen the Christian right on board with the libertarian right, the capitalist right. And, because Christians are reactionary. And reactionaries can be fooled very easily. They're very dangerous in their own right, but being reactionary does not automatically make you counter-revolutionary. I like to draw a distinction there. Reactionary just means that you have backward ideals. Your ideals are contrary to progress, but you're not unredeemable. You're not a bad person. You're just misinformed. You're ignorant. But there are a lot of counter-revolutionary politicians, there are a lot of counter-revolutionary tactics, there are a lot of counter-revolutionary ideologies that are dominant in the American political system. And unfortunately, the left has not done more to welcome the Christian sector into their fold. So, partially to blame, but then again, America really doesn't have a left-wing party. The Democratic Party is not left-wing. They might be a different sort of right-wing than the Republican Party, but that's not saying anything. Look at England. England has a Libertarian Party. They have the Liberal Party. They have Liberal Democrats. The Green Party. None of them are particularly left-wing. At most, they're very, very moderate left-wing, and that's a stretch. It's just right-wing and more right-wing. So those are your choices. And at that, England has much more diverse parties than we do. Why they need 4 versions of a moderate right-wing party, I don't know. I guess they're just better at that illusion of democratic choice. But still, in the end, you're getting reactionaries versus counter-revolutionaries. And at the end of the day, you gotta give reactionaries the benefit of the doubt. You gotta throw them a bone, or else they'll never learn. They'll just run right back to the counter-revolutionaries. So, I don't want to spend my time bashing them and coming down against them, even if I do believe, in fact, they are wrong. In fact, the fact is they are wrong 99% of the time. So, that's all I gotta say.